Hello?
Hey, you want to turn on the stream or I turn on the stream?
Yeah, I just turned it on right now.
Okay, you sound sleepy.
I just woke up.
I didn't even sleep, man.
Oh no.
I forgot the password. I had zero sleep. I'm having trouble with sleep.
I don't know, maybe anxiety?
Everything. Too hot.
And that, yeah. It's pretty freaking hot these days.
Hot, humid. Make sure you record.
Yeah, I'll hit record as soon as we actually start casting.
Mm.
Oh, well, I guess I can just record now.
By the way, does drinking... Oh, I'm hearing the music sound. That's right. Does drinking energy drink help you to like stay awake more?
Yeah, Hot Six the king.
I mean, like for real.
Hot Six the king. I'm not sure because I don't drink energy drinks.
I drank Monster and Rockstar when I was in the US while I was studying and trying to do my homework and stuff. I think it kind of helped, but I kind of forget now. I kind of forgot now
I think.
whether it helps or not.
Soda keeps me awake, but I don't notice it until I actually try and fall asleep. I've only drank like 3 energy drinks in my whole life, so I'm not too sure about those.
What are the 3 energy drinks you drank?
Red Bull, Hot Six when I got here. Also Monster. Yeah.
You haven't tried Rockstar in the US?
No.
Oh, my sleep pattern is completely messed. I got messed up. I want to fix it. They host it.
And I'm gonna start in a second.
Weren't you S rank? Weren't you S
Yeah.
rank on ladder?
Yeah, I have like 4 different accounts.
I was looking at Artos's bot. You went down to 2200 for some reason.
Yeah, sometimes don't play well or I hit a streak of players that are better.
Still annoying that you gotta put millions of missile turret before you take your third.
Yeah. And then also, yeah, that, and then also the SCV flying. Anytime I get that, I just insta-leave, so I've lost hundreds of points doing that.
Flying a CV.
Yeah.
You gotta do the counter flying a CV to the...
Nah, I don't really care. I'd rather just save time. and go rematch.
Yeah, that's fine too. I don't know what Blizzard's doing. They're getting paid monthly, but I don't know what they're doing. They don't even communicate with the users. And we don't know who's working on a development team or StarCraft team in general.
Yeah, I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna start in like 30 seconds. Welcome everybody to another cast brought to you by StarCastTV. I am Nyoken, and of course joining me is the one and only Scan. And today we've got a TvP matchup. Last week we saw a TvZ between Rush and Larva, and I won't spoil it, but we'll just say that it did not go according to plan for one of those players. But this matchup I'm very excited for, because Stork we don't see play that often these days, and he's going up against like an amateur type player in Speed, aka 10-minute flash, aka Sexy. And Speed, he's got really killer TvP. If you looked at the details of this match in particular, Speed knocked out Stork of the ASL in the qualifiers and killed him in the KCM matchup, so Stork really wants to get some revenge on Speed here. So Scan, what are your thoughts on this particular matchup?
Just to correct you a little bit more information about Speed. He was actually a team with J-Dog. He was also in a team in some other Frozen Rose players. So yeah, he is he's not an amateur player. He's definitely a strong player, and he has been playing really well on Spawnbang matches as well, beating quite a lot of strong players. So I'm excited to see some how well he's gonna be playing against Stork in this TvP on a best of 7 series matchup.
I was not aware that he was on Hwasung, so he's definitely a very strong player. Let's get a look at the maps real quick before we get into game one. Our first map of the day is going to be on Polypoid, followed up by Fighting Spirit, Eclipse, Hidden Track, Ultimate Stream, Polaris Rhapsody, and ending the day on Ascension. So we've got very common maps, and of course the ASL maps from last season. So this should be a very interesting, very good matchup. We are already in the game and waiting in the lobby, so let me tell StarCastTV that we're ready to go, and we'll be getting into game number one momentarily. Well,
the first map is going to be chosen by Stork Polypoid. Interesting.
That first map is going to be Polypoid. So in the bottom right, in the blue, we have our Protoss player. It is Stork. And in the bottom left, you know him as 10-minute flash or Sexy, but he wants to be known as Speed. And he is in the white in the bottom left. So we have horizontal spawns here. We always talk about this, where this time Protoss is going to have a little bit of an advantage here. He's going to have direct access into the main if he goes for that Reaver play. And we know Stork has a really strong Reaver play in PvP, but actually Stork is more known for carrier play. So what do you think about these positions for PvT if Stork goes for carriers?
In this kind of matchup for the horizontal Polypoid matchup, I would say it's a little bit of a disadvantage side for Stork, because it may be easy to take the third expansion towards the minor expansion, but whenever he wants to take the fourth expansion towards the 3 o'clock, he won't be able to take the 6 o'clock expansion, because it is going to be very close to Sexy's expansion, to his third minor expansion. And yeah, there's a slightly of a disadvantage side for Stork for going mid game for taking on another expansion after third.
Yeah, well, I'm already looking at the ID 10-minute flash, and I know Stork loves to go for the carrier play. Always, well, not always, but often I see him go for the 2 base carrier type play. Now versus someone like Speed, Is that going to be successful? I mean, just looking at the 10-minute flash ID makes you think like, okay, this guy's going to try and end it in 10 minutes. And usually that's a deadly counter to what Protoss goes, or to the two-base Stargate build. Do you think we'll see some type of pressure play if he suspects that it's...
So Stork is really having the strong matchup against Terran with carrier opener, like how enforcing the bonus is really good at using Reaver and a carrier micro. Stork is also one of them in the Korea scene, but I would like to point out that recently Stork played against Speed on KCM Challenge, and he was using his best strategy that he will be using against Terran, like he was using carrier, but Speed beat Stork when Stork was using carrier, like without any problem. So I was a little shocked how Stork couldn't do well with his best strategy, and I wonder how well he is prepared for this first game, and somehow how he should be taking some of the lead in the beginning, and with the mind game going on from both of the players.
Yeah, so we do see both sides pretty much playing normal. We've got, standard cybernetics opener range coming in. Speed is going to scout Stork last, so if Stork had gone for something like DTs or one-base robo shenanigans, would have been quite deadly potentially. Back on Speed's side, of course, we see first factory coming down, double Marine, soon to be triple Marine. That means he's going to be skipping the bunker and going into command center. That's going to let him get it up a little bit quicker than usual. But first Goon is already out and moving into position. Oh, actually a fourth Marine being pumped out. So we may... Oh, okay. He's going to go for the Vulture despite not really scouting at all. And what does this mean when you see multiple Marines like this comboed with a single Vulture?
I honestly don't know, but he's also building... He also built out a third depot inside of his main base, so I have a feeling he will still go for the factory expand with the Vulture opener. But I wasn't sure what Speed was actually doing, because nowadays in TvP you usually do the end scout pattern, like since he spawned at the 7 o'clock, he scouted at the 11 o'clock first, and then I was expecting him to scout all the way to 5 o'clock, but he went all the way to clockwise and able to get some information that Stork was putting down the third pilot inside of his main base. And he also rotated the Vulture, and we'll be able to confirm there's a Nexus at the natural.
He didn't see it. He didn't even react with the Goon. He didn't see it with the first Goon. He didn't see it with the second. And he saw it with the third, but didn't see it. And this Vulture that I thought was going to do no damage, well, it's doing a lot of damage. And he went for the Vulture timing that I really like, which is the 430 move into the main. He's gotten 3 kills. And now Stork is just attacking a bunker, and the Vulture's going to get away. And now Stork has to worry not only about the Vulture being out on the map and going for a counterattack, but now if Speed had gotten mines, these goons might potentially run into them. We see that siege mode is coming down, but it could have been a nice mine play if he ended up going for that. Instead, he's just going to play passively.
I'm quite impressed that the Vulture was still alive and got all the information that he really needs. So since he got all the information with the Vulture Scout and picked up the 3 probe, and Stork also lost a lot of mining time, so there is like really low chance of going DT opener, and Speed is already preparing for the second factory. I think we are gonna be seeing some timing attack by 10-minute flash.
Yeah, 10-minute flash. He might be putting some pressure back onto Stork. As you mentioned, the Vulture Scout was crucial. It scouted everything. It not only got the 3 kills, it also saw that there were a lot of goons pumped out before the Robo could have been put down, so he knows that Reaver play is going to be delayed too. So this is just a fantastic opener for Speed. We see that Comsat or Academy is coming down, so he's going to be getting that Comsat, but he didn't have to rush it as fast as he could have. So the Vulture Scout really paying dividends there, getting out a really crucial scout. Now Stork, I have to say, rallying those 3 goons across the map, that's a big misstep. A lot of players actually go for Vultures these days, and it seems like, I guess maybe he had a read on Speed that he potentially maybe never likes to go for Vultures, but if that was a read, well, he misread big time. And we're going to actually see a 3 tank, 6 Marine, rallied Vulture move out, and well, I have to say, doing this type of push on Polypoid where the opponent has high ground on the side, I always struggle to make this push work. So we'll see if 10-minute flash can get some damage done, or if this is going to be a big blunder.
The Spider-Mine research has done, but Stork does have a lot of Dragoons, but he definitely does not have Observer. This because of the first Vulture Scout and the harassment. Quite delayed Stork's first Observer for a long time. He definitely does have a lot of goons, but Speed already has a position with the siege tank and also putting down the bunker. If the bunker finishes, that Marine's gonna be doing free damage, but Stork is gonna go for the engagement. Spider-Mine did trigger some of them, but will he be able to clear all the siege tank on time?
He does take out all the tanks, but he's gonna lose almost every single goon, and that opens up the natural, and Vulture's gonna get into the nat again. No reaction. The probes are just gonna die. Okay, now he finally drills some of them, but he's lost 4 probes so far. Maybe a 5th one can go down. Speed controlling it quite well. Another goon I heard died, I guess, to the bunker. So this attack was successful. Trading so many goons for just a handful of vultures and 3 tanks, I think that's quite worth. But you can see that the worker count, despite getting so many probe kills, it's still okay for Stork, and he has his 3rd Nexus going up. But Speed instantly scouts it, and what's the reaction? Instantly 3rd and 4th factory.
I think it would have been a better choice for Stork if he has start that 3rd Nexus before the engagement. But after losing all those Dragon, before putting down the Nexus, I have a feeling Stork is a little bit of a behind in this game because he still needs some time to saturate each expansion and still needs some time for adding additional gateway. But Stork is not. I heard a couple of scans earlier, and Stork, Speed probably confirmed how much of a gateway Stork has at the second, and he's already adding another factory. This is going to be total 5 factory with a +1 attack on the way. I hear another scan. Where is it at?
Let's see where it was at. He's scanning the main, and he sees that a lot of gateways have come down. He doesn't get a count on all of them, but he should suspect that this has definitely got to be more than 2 or 3 gateways. We see that it is 6. And Stork surprisingly put down all these gateways before his observer even got to the base of Speed, so he's reading it correctly based on the flow of the game, like, hey, this guy's probably going to follow up with a nice timing after getting so many probe kills, and he's right because 5 factory are coming at him. Now, looking at Stork's build, you gotta say that this is not looking like a mid-game, late-game type of build, because just now Citadel has started at 9:30. That is so late. It's gonna work out this time because we know that a 5 fact is coming, but you know, maybe Speed won't eat, or legs for the Zealots might not even be in time for Speed's incoming push. He's already at 6 tanks.
Another Vulture harassment at the mineral expansion, picking up 4, 5, and 5 probes for 3 Vulture. That is going to be definitely worth for Speed, because Stork still needs time to add more probe in order to have a complete 3 base saturation. And Astrodon just now completes, and Speed knows what is going on. I think Speed is reading the game really well here. He knows Stork has literally nothing. He just got the Citadel now. No Speed Zealot still. And Stork, Speed is going to be just turtling from here with the putting down the science facility and the 2nd armory, with the putting down the 3rd command center as well.
Yeah, this is a good read from Speed here. Okay, Stork might be going for some counterplay. Zealot bomb on top of some tanks could be deadly. He's gonna try and catch that tank. He needs to unsiege some of these tanks so he doesn't splash them. Okay, he loses just 1, that's fine. No mines are set up. That means these goons can jump on these tanks instantly. And this is a lot of goons. Remember, this is 6 gate production. So he's got a nice follow-up after this. Even if all the goons die, he's taking out so many tanks. There's only 3 remaining. And this command center might get busted.
Well, that is definitely a lot of goons that Stork just made, and pressuring Speed on time before he gets a lot of siege tank on the high ground with the Spider-Mine. And now all of the siege tank has gone down. There are 2 reinforcements of the siege tank, but they are not enough to hold this 3rd command center. I'm pretty sure Speed is kinda he probably wants to finish that command center, because that command center is all about to be finished, like 99%, but there are so many goons already pressuring Speed at the mineral expansion.
I can't believe that worked. And now Stork is feeling confident to keep going. There's 3 tanks here, man. He's still going to go for it, though. We've got a Vulture run by at the same time into the natural. Okay, mines are being set up. Stork doesn't realize. Okay, now he comes in and realizes. He lost maybe a couple of probes, but nothing major. We can see that speed has kicked in for Stork also. Probe count versus SCV count still in favor of speed, but the third commands that are being delayed is definitely a big hindrance. We see that +1 has started for Stork also. But as I stated, the Citadel being so late, you would expect like Stargate or Templar Archive to maybe have just finished, but it hasn't even started either.
Zealot is now complete. I heard one scan that was at the mineral expansion, but we can see Stork is also taking on hidden expansion at the 1 o'clock. Normally, you usually expand towards to the 3 o'clock site, but there's a 1 spider mine, so there's a little bit of a mind game that Stork is pretending that he's gonna be doing 3 base all in at this position.
Yeah, well, we do see that Speed is retaking his 3rd base, and actually, you know, that 5 fact was intending to go for a killing move if he had scanned less gateways, but after he saw that it was already 6 gate follow-up, he transitioned it into a pretty quick +2 timing after his opener.
So there were 2 goons were misrallied to Speed's mineral expansion. 2 goons were killed.
Right, this is some good Vulture harassment. He catches some more probes. He has lost quite a few Vultures going for the probe harassment. I think at this point, now that there's 4 Nexus up, it's kind of pointless to, you know, harass this much because Protoss can just rebuild their probe count quite easily. We can see Stork has now caught up in workers, 54 to 56. Generally, Protoss is looking to get into that 60 probe count range, but still, man. Okay, there. Templar Archive at the natural, and he's got Storm coming. I was wondering, where's our AoE? Because these days versus Terran, if you don't have AoE, you are not going to have success.
Yes, that is definitely true. And I think for a moment, with the Vulture harassment and figuring out that Speed cannot do anything without except for the Vulture harassment, I feel like he's gonna be turtling here once again and taking another expansion towards to the 9 o'clock. But I see 1 Siege tank loaded inside of a dropship going towards to 11 o'clock side.
Yeah, his brother got left behind on the left side, and unfortunately those goons took him out immediately. Well, Stork is setting up to go for a flank from all sides on this 3rd base. Look at that Zealot bomb directly onto a tank, and it gets instantly killed by Splash. Now Drop is going to go to top right, but as you said, this is 1 tank. Stork is probably going to look at it and be like, what? This is just 1 tank, but here we go. An attack through the front. I don't know about this. Zealots are just going to instantly eat these mines and die for free.
I wonder where the tanks are. Right now, I only see 5 Siege tanks by Speed, and Speed is right now wasting a little bit of an army at the center. Losing a couple of Vultures, and he also canceled the 4th command center, so this is not looking great because Stork already has another spawning location. If he has enough probe count, he will start building more expansion and adding another gateways at another spawning location, and High Templars will get sniped at the natural.
Yeah, and those Templars did have the energy and did have the Storm available to actually kill those Vultures, so a big catch right there. You can see Stork has now caught up to 62 probes, and this is pretty much the sweet spot for Protoss in terms of econ. Looks like he's got a couple more queued up, going up to 65, pretty much perfect from him. Now this Vulture play has been great, dwindling down the probes all game long, but now it's getting to the point where Speed really needs to get up to 200 because Protoss is approaching 200. We've lost so many Vultures, now we're approaching about 120. Nice catch here, killing so many goons, but these Vultures need to actually deal damage if he's going to go for harassment like this, and definitely don't get caught. Otherwise, Stork might run him over in just a moment.
I get to see 4th command center is just now finished at the natural, and he's lifting off, but I have a feeling Speed is wasting his Vulture. Try to do some more harassment, but as you mentioned earlier, like as soon as Protoss starts to have more than 4th base, he will immediately get that the probe count really fast. But I don't see much of a good trade or harassment has done by Speed so far.
Oh, look at this, another tank drop to top right. Unfortunately for Speed, goons are popping out of those gateways, so there's going to be a DT and 4 goons dealing with 2 tanks. DT gets taken out, and maybe this tanks will deal more damage than I thought. The pylon wall is doing a good job, but he can just elevator some more vultures in, and this base might actually get taken down. So Stork, you need to do something, man, because supplies are starting to get dangerously even. +3 is coming also. It's about to finish, and Stork is just going to let this happen. Top right is going to get busted, and now he's decided, like, hey, I should probably save this, but this is too late. This is a dead base.
Yeah, and there are a lot of spider mines were laid down at the center of the map, and goons will take some time. I heard something. Oh, that was an observer dying at the 9 o'clock side. A lot of probes are getting killed at the 1 o'clock side, so this is a very crucial moment for Protoss, losing a lot of units.
Okay, well, the base is going to be saved, but look at how out of position these goons were. If Speed was to have, you know, gotten all of his units together and went for a counter push with mines through the center of the map, he may have been able to cut off all these goons. Like, these goons that are running back to the center, I'm looking, okay, was the observer in front? Well, the answer was no. They easily could have eaten a lot of mines. So Speed, for now, kind of losing his chance to try and go for a killing move, but instead he's going to transition into securing his 4th base on the left side. And Stork, man, I don't know about this attack. +3 has kicked in for Terran. Goodbye, shuttle.
Shuttle immediately get picked up, but he's also trying to go for the attack. But there are 3 siege tank at the 9 o'clock side. I wonder if Speed knows about the 6 o'clock expansion. But yeah. Speed, I don't think Speed is ready to move out yet because his supply count is at 172.
Yeah, he needs a couple more cycles, and then he'll be maxed out with +3, and that's so deadly. I'm pretty sure he does not know about 6 o'clock, because what Protoss in there...
Oh, he just scanned.
Oh, he's just scanned it? I can't believe he scans bottom middle. Like, why would Protoss ever take that base? Well, I'm looking at the comp of Stork, and I really hate it. Like, look at how many goons he has.
Yeah, it's just way too much of a goon, and we get to see Speed is starting to have a lot of siege tank, but he's wasting a little bit of there at the 6 o'clock side, and I think Speed is right now unsieging his army, and he's about to move out.
Yeah, and as I stated before, you look at Stork's army and you're like, well, Goon Man does not beat Tank Man unless you've got something like Mass Storm. And Stork has Storm, but there's only 2 Templars. So this bottom base is gonna die. I actually think that this bottom base could have been like a bait to draw all the units out of position if Stork was in a better position, and then he could instantly counter mid-left. But it looks like he's going to try and save this base. This is just not a savable base.
Yeah, the terrain is definitely Terran's favor. But there are 2 high temperatures inside of a shuttle. The lights are trying to focus targeting the shuttle. One nice storm, but will they be able to put down another? Oh no, the High Templar will get picked up immediately.
Well, maybe he is going to save bottom middle, but Stork's supply is plumbing. Oh, the Zealots are able to get into mid-left, and this is kind of the attack that I was talking about. Sack bottom middle and instead bust mid-left. If Stork had killed mid-left, if we look at what Speed has, he just has a mineral only. Stork would still have his mineral only in top right, so he would have been in an okay position. But instead, mid-left does not get busted. Bottom middle, it's still up and running, but there's so many tanks here that you feel like at some point in the next minute or so it's going to fall. Or maybe it's just going to fall right now.
Yeah, the tanks will go down, but Stork does have a lot of high tempers, but really be able to win. But oh my god, just a focus targeting on the high tempers before he gets to use some of storms on the top of the siege tank, and now this is not really looking pretty for Stork because I don't see any. Are there a couple of? Okay, there are a couple of dragoons, but it will take some time for Stork to have those unit composition before he goes for the fight, and I think Speed is gonna go for the harassment once again with the vulture because the dragoons are a little bit out of position.
Yeah, these vultures are going to kill all of these zealots. They also laid a few mines to delay the goons from saving the top right base. Of course, the goons eventually are going to be able to clean this up. Cannon already in position to prevent it. But 150 supply for speed right now versus just 113. Let's get a look at his tank count. I see it's about maybe 20 spread out throughout all his bases. He's got top left up or coming up pretty soon. So speed is in a dominating position. You can see Stork almost below 100 supply. He's trying to get up the natural at top right, but the issue for Stork is just his unit comp is just not the greatest. He did have a lot of Templars at bottom middle, but we saw the focus fire and they had no support like Zealots in the front to buffer the damage. And now Speed is in the driver's seat and he's got his eyes set on top right. Look at how many tanks this is.
That is definitely a lot of these things sieging before the gun starts to attack, and it's a very good, nice position. Using a couple of scans to clear some observers, so Stork won't be able to get the information where Speed is sending his siege tank towards to. And now Stork is having a little bit of a trouble with mining each bases. Still one vulture at 1 o'clock.
Now,
I hear more scans.
Stork is moving to top right and instantly a counterattack with the vultures into the third base. If I was Protoss, yep, there it is. There's the GG. So Speed, he is going to take game 1 in our first, or in our revenge match today.
Wow, I thought Stork was gonna make some great comeback after taking down the third command center, plus taking all the guns after even if he was so behind in the early game, losing a couple of probe and a lot of guns, and his robo attack was super delayed. I thought he was able to make this game even, but I guess the mag upgrade was just insanely good for Protoss to insanely good upgrade for Terran to hold the Protoss army.
Yeah, I agree. When I saw the third base get busted, I'm like, man, am I really watching this? Just because Speed doesn't have mines set up, these goons are going to overwhelm the third base, and then Stork is going to take a victory here. He killed all of the tanks. As a Terran player, when you see your tanks get reset like that, and you know Protoss is already on 3 base, whether or not they have, Arbiter or anything coming or not, you're feeling pretty bad. But Speed had really, really good vulture play throughout the entire game, really saved him getting all those probe kills. And then actually, those drops, even the small 1 tank drop, drew a lot of the attention of Stork to top right, and it was able to allow Speed to get his 4th base up and running. And then of course the upgrades kicked in, and it was just lights out for Stork. Well, now we're going to be going into game 2 in just a second. It is on Fighting Spirit, and surprisingly, this is Speed's pick. And if you guys watch Artosis' stream, you know that he would never, ever in a million years pick this versus a Protoss player. So I'm curious what Speed has planned on this particular map.
Yeah, I also don't like to play on Fighting Spirit. A lot of people say that Fighting Spirit is a Terran favorite Terran map, but I think the meta kind of shifted, and I think Fighting Spirit is more likely a Protoss map nowadays, with the Speed Shuttle meta and High Templar Storm.
Yeah, because I haven't played Fighting Spirit in, probably like a year now.
If you remember back then where a lot of people were playing on a Fighting Spirit, you usually get to see Protoss people doing either Dark Templar build, like cheesy Dark Templar build, or 3-gate Observer, 3-gate Gun Ob, I think, is that what it's called in English?
Yeah, 3-gate Goon.
Yeah, 3-gate Gun.
Goon, yeah.
Yeah, Gun Ob, whatever the actual name is called. But so yeah, that was the meta in the back then, like 2012. I guess that we're gonna be moving into game number 2 right now.
Yeah, I was also going to mention it also is that the meta has changed. So back then, as you stated, we did see common builds like 3-gate Goon, DT openers. But now, with the harassment that you're talking about, Fighting Spirit going going back to your main or going to the third base. It is not so easy because the pathing is not the greatest, so that could be a recipe for success here for Stork. Now again, we've got horizontal spawns, Stork in the bottom right and 10-minute flash in the bottom left. Do you think that we're going to see that 3 tank push again? Because spawns like this are pretty darn close, and we know that that push is very common these days and very deadly.
It is still possible, but I wonder what kind of a build opening that Speed is going to be doing in this game number 2 in Fighting Spirit, because for 7 o'clock, it is kind of a little bit of a hard to put a lot of factories, because we kind of put the factories in a vertical way.
Yeah.
And interesting pylon placement by Stork.
Yeah, as you mentioned, bottom left, not the most ideal position for Terran. Actually, this is one of my most hated positions on all maps. I hate it for the factories, as you stated. I hate it for Terran versus Zerg, because I can't build turrets at my natural. Like, I just never want to spawn here, ever. You know, funny enough, yesterday I was watching a Flash tutorial VOD, the like 100% noob build tutorial that he did, and
like he
was at top left on Fighting Spirit, and he went to move out, and as soon as he moved out, double shuttle went into his main, and he didn't have any turrets. And I was like, oh, you know this is an old game when you don't see a turret ring at all, because I was getting nightmares to my latter games where I see like triple shuttle, sometimes 5 shuttles just run into my main. So yeah, definitely meta has changed quite a bit on Fighting Spirit. Now we see Stork is scouting top right. He's not going to find Speed there. He's actually going to have a last scout. And Speed, okay, he is going to go to the right side and find Stork first. And this time around, Stork is going for Zealot pressure play.
Yeah, it's going to be core first into Zealot. Also, somewhat the build is changed in PvT, where you go for Zealot first into Cybernetics core. And you don't make the second Zealot, but also making the... a lot of probe to go for 23 Nexus with the 1 Zealot, 1 Goon. And I guess Stork wants to do some pressure with the first Zealot with the Goon in the beginning. But Speed will know there's a Zealot out on the map. He's also chasing how far or how long it's going to be taking. That Zealot is going to be arriving to Speed's main base, and Speed is definitely aware of it.
Yeah, what Stork is doing here is one of my most hated openers. It's such a simple opener, but this is kind of like a skill check, a micro check from the Terran side, because even if you see the Zealot coming, you still have to micro the Marines very well. And if you don't see it coming, well, all of a sudden your Marines could be out of position, and you could easily get a very quick win if the Zealot kills any amount of Marines. We see that SCV is in position in front of the Marines, so Zealot gets no damage done. And it does just force Speed to make a couple more Marines. So basically, pretty much the game is even at this point. No player ahead at all. We don't see that 23 Nexus that you were talking about. Instead, he's pumping out 3 more Goons, and then he's going to put down the Nexus.
And we can also see his probe count at 19. I'm not sure if this is actually worth it for Stork, because he's kind of cutting a lot of probe. And there's a hidden Zealot hiding at Speed's natural, but I guess Speed is not aware of it. The Vulture, where did the Vulture go? Going on to 6 o'clock. But the third Dragoon is about to be popping out. Yes, it just popped out.
Oh, look at this. Zealot running into the main. He's probably like, where the hell did that come from? Crouching Goon in the front, hidden Zealot at the natural, and he's probably gonna get some SCV kills. There goes 1.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that Speed can't pull his Marines from his bunker, because if he does, the Goon's just gonna run by, and then he's gonna have a Zealot and 2 Goons in his base. Well, SCV controller was fantastic. He's looking to get another kill. He forced like 8 SCVs off of the line. So this opener that didn't really work out for Stork in the beginning now is working out. He almost gets a second SCV. Tank pops out. Really nice control on the SCV. And those Goons did run by. I told you, man. This is what those Protoss players do. They're like, bunker? Nah, I don't care. Let me get by that natural.
good harassment. And that Goon did lose a lot of HP. Command Center is still not finished. The Nexus is coming up. I think this will trigger Speed to go another 2-fact timing, I suppose, because Stork was using quite a lot of guns in the early game, and the Vultures got also confirmed how much of a pylon that Stork already had inside of his main base. He confirmed there were 3. Probably didn't get to see the 4th pylon, but he knows there's no other tech that besides only single gateway. So yes, there's gonna be the second factory all on the way, and the armory as well this time.
Yep, second factory armory at 540. That's a pretty normal timing for the armory, so that's going to put him at around a 12:32 timing if he was hit everything on time. I'm curious because you mentioned if you see this many goons produce, and especially after they take damage to the bunker, that you might potentially go for a timing. What's the reasoning there? Because in my mind, if I see somebody building more goons, my initial reaction is to not build 3 factories because I would feel like I'm just running into death.
If you were able to confirm how much of a goons that Protoss was making, and you know he is not building any other tech than besides making goons, then you can kind of like guess whether you want to go for 2-fact push or go for super fast armor where Artosis does every time when you play TvP.
Yeah.
But I think this is gonna be a timing attack by Speed because he's okay. He does have a cat. Okay, I didn't get to see that there was an academy, but he's getting the seasonal. But he got the double machine shot. I think as soon as that seasonal completes, he probably will go for vulture speed and maybe 4 tank or maybe 6 tank and go for mass vulture timing attack while Stork is taking the 3rd expansion. Oh, never mind. He's gonna move out with the 4 C's tank. He's already making the vulture speed and the spider mine research on the way.
Yep, this is going to be an interesting timing. Not too sure if I've seen this before. 4 tanks. Usually it is the 5 that you mentioned. And the observer comes in at a sweet moment. It sees that vultures are popping out, so he knows the timing is coming. Unfortunately for Speed, Reaver's going to be popping out in about 20 seconds from now. He's also got Zealots already loaded up in his shuttle. The only thing lacking for Stork is if there is some type of botch, like let's say that goons run into mines and they all explode. Well, he really doesn't have that many gateways behind it because he's putting a lot of his resources into that mid-right base.
Ooh.
So he definitely needs to get up a couple more gateways because an attack could be imminent. But instead, Speed he scanned, and now he's just going to use these vultures for harassment, and these tanks are just going to stay behind.
Speed is right now putting a lot of missile turret. He used first to comms station and confirmed there's a shuttle that came out from the robo. He also confirmed Stork has a 3rd expansion at the 3 o'clock side. And I guess Speed is just going to be turtling here with the rotating couple of vultures in the middle of the map. And there is going to be the shuttle going inside of Speed's main base.
Yep, and with all those vultures out in the center of the map, well, he doesn't have much defense. There's a Zealot and a Reaver, and all that's left, well, I mean, there's 5 tanks, but we know how fast Reavers can burst down these tanks, especially if they group up like that. And that's a great hit. The Zealot's soaking up so many hits. That tank's gonna die too. The Reaver still has almost full health. 3 tanks have died. Now the SCV line is compromised. That's a good hit. It gets like 3. Okay, the vulture or the shuttle's getting dangerously low, so it's gonna have to back off. Meanwhile, this vulture harassment got into the 3rd base, but no probes were there, so he doesn't get any kills. Now, I didn't see what happened to the shuttle. Did it get killed?
Yeah, it got killed by the Goliath. If you killed the Goliath got a kill there. I'm not sure how much of a probe got killed at the 3 o'clock side, but judging by the how much of an infrastructure both of the players have, it is definitely looking great for Protoss at the moment because he's adding all the way up to 6 gateway. He got another. There's a speed shuttle. Yeah, I confirmed there's a speed shuttle at the bridge, Speed's bridge side. So whenever Speed is trying to move out and try to, if he ever tries to take that 3rd expansion at the 9 o'clock side, Stork is probably going to be dropping a lot of unit top of the siege tank and also use the high ground advantage and delay that 3rd expansion for a long time.
Well, we see another Reaver get loaded up, but Scan, man, Stork's build, I'm really not... Okay, well, okay, now it's going to be 8-gate bust. So this is going to be some type of gateway man bust play. I was looking at the Citadel timing, and I was like, man, I feel like we're seeing just like what we saw in Polypoid, where we're going to have no AoE going up against the Terran player who's headed towards the 3-2 upgrades. We see that +2 has started. I'm more happy that now there's a lot of gates, and this does look like he is just going to try and bust. Really, if you're going to go for some type of tech play, you need that Citadel around like 7:30. And it's just been late every game we've seen so far.
One dropship at the 5 o'clock. It is going to be going in, but goons will be just coming out on time. There will be 2 goons, but
look at this SimCity.
Probably has to pull back the probe. That's 4 kill. Okay, the second siege tank shot didn't get a kill. So I'm not sure if this is actual worth harassment by Speed. Stork did lose a little bit of a mining time, but since Stork already has 3 base mining, 3 base saturation, he'll be immediately restore the number of worker count as soon as he wants.
Yeah, I personally don't think it was that worth, but Speed still has an 8 worker lead. This is kind of enlightening to me that despite the Reaver dealing a little bit, or actually not a little bit, quite a bit of damage, and the drop not doing that much damage, Stork is still behind in workers. You would expect the Protoss to be ahead at this point, but he's just not. And Speed is taking his 3rd base at the left side. There's no observer over there. There's no units over there. So he's going to get this base up and running quite easily. And now, as I stated, there's no AoE for Stork, so it's still just gateway man. I see lots of shuttles are coming out. He's got his 2nd one out.
If you also click Speed's armory, his +2 is like 70%, 80% done. Oh, Speed already made the 2nd dropship already at the natural. But I'm not sure if it's worth to rotate a little bit of an army when he really needs to secure his 3rd expansion or his entrance at the net. Because Stork does have a lot of army. His supply count at 162, and he's about to move out. The speed zealot is about to be complete soon. He's going in.
Yep, and there's a lot of supply out of position at the 3rd base of Speed. He desperately needs to move this back into position, but look at this choke. All the goons are choking up on the bridge. It's preventing so many units from actually getting on top of the tanks, but the Zealot Bomb and the Reavers connect onto all those tanks, and 10-minute flash, he's about to get busted. This is so much Protoss. I don't think he can hold this one. This is just so much.
The +2 wasn't done. Yeah, the +2 upgrade just now completes as soon as when the situation is not good for Terran. So this is not happy for Speed at the moment, because the number of a siege tank that he just lost is so much. And
Stork needs to rally, man. Like, he's got almost 20 zealots sitting at his natural. If he rallies, I think he could easily bust through. But as I say that, all of the goons have died except for 4 on the left side. And Stork, he was so close to busting, yet somehow Speed has held. And I'm looking to see if during all that chaos, did the drop go out anywhere? I don't see it. Do you see it?
I have a feeling, no, I don't see it too. I think Stork overextended at the natural when he shouldn't be, when there's a 2 siege tank on the high ground. And now the zealots are just literally stepping on the spider mines, and those 20 zealots just melting like an ice cream.
Yeah, so much supply going down in those zealots, and a lot of them are low health too. So really nice mine connections there from Speed, and he needed that to get back into this game, because Stork is going to be taking his 4th base right now. Looks like Stork wants to go for another attack, but Speed, he got up 6 factories so fast, he's able to replenish this army quite quickly, and these zealots all die. They don't even kill anything, and Stork is going to lose everything for a single tank.
Yeah, that is definitely not a good trade for Stork. And what other attacks does Stork have beside High Templar? Okay, the Sidestorm upgrade just now complete. He's getting a couple of High Templar out of from the gateways.
Oh my gosh.
And so no fourth expansion is running for Stork.
Scan, I can't even believe it. Does that say that speed is up in supply almost?
Yeah, this is looking great for speed. Speed is rotating a little bit of more of a vulture. He's already upgrading. 3-2 upgrade on the way. I'm also curious how well Stork is going to be denying Speed's fourth expansion, because we can see Speed's main base is going to be mined out in maybe next 1 minute or so. His natural is also going to be mined out probably next 5 minutes as well. So if the game goes really long and somehow Stork holds Speed's push. Oh, there's a storm harassment at the 9 o'clock side.
Oh, I see it now. He gets a lot of SCVs. That's nicely done. I think it's about 10 right there. Zealot might actually get a couple of tank kills too. That's great. We saw that the vultures in the center of the map did not intercept those probes. He was looking for them, but Stork does get his fourth base up and running. But as I stated, the tech is really lacking for Stork. He got kills with the Templars on the left side, but if you look at the standing army, it's not so good. He's got maybe a handful of goons, handful of zealots, and just 2 or 3 Templars. Okay, now with the shuttle, the Templars become a little bit more potent. Vulture's still sharking on the top side of the map. Supplies are dead even, 140 to 140, but we know what's not even? +3 weapon is about to kick in, and Protoss doesn't even have +2 yet.
Yeah, he's just completely a gateway man with the High Templar. So if the game starts to go really long and somehow Speed managed to get a lot of siege tank in late game, that is definitely not going to be looking great for Stork in late game against Mass Tank. And I'm also curious why Speed is not taking the third Vespene Geyser at the 9 o'clock side.
Yeah, it might just be too much micro going on with these vultures that he didn't even realize he doesn't have it. He trades a lot of vultures for a couple of goons. It was definitely in favor of Stork, but the vultures at least killing some goons is not bad. We can see Stork has now taken a slight supply lead. Worker count dead even, 61 to 61, but a 25 supply lead for Stork right now. However, as we know, the +3 upgrades are just so deadly for Terran that it's going to be hard for Protoss to stop an incoming 200 push. And look at this again. Stork's like, I'm going to take bottom middle. And I'm just sitting here thinking, in what world is this base ever going to get up and running?
Yeah, Stork is managing to hold that vulture harassment really well. But I'm also curious why Speed is constantly wasting those vulture for small units straight against those goons, and he's not going to be able to harass at all against these four Nexus saturation against the Protoss. And finally, there's a fourth command center is being built at the natural. Yeah, the vultures are buying some time really well here.
Yeah, it seems to be that one, Speed's trying to catch some Templars, but at the same time, Speed's tank count was a little bit too low, so he wants to buy time, build up the tank count before he gets out in the center of the map. You know you can build up your supply quite easily, even with just 1 round of vultures from all the factories. So he's trading so well with these vultures, and now his tank count is pretty darn high. I think he's at like 16 or something. But
Storm!
Oh, okay, the vultures force out a storm, but still the shuttle has 4 more Templars in it. So he's going to have a lot of storm available. Stork is almost max, but Terran is about to be max too, and now he has so many tanks. He's going to start getting out onto the map, but this is another hard moment for Terran, is just getting across the bridges, because Observer sees you and he knows that siege is not set up.
Zealots are trying to come, and there are some of Zealots trying to unload top of the siege tank. Storming top of the siege tank, that's nice. A lot of Zealots are coming, but there are a lot of units like reinforcements standing at the behind. Command centers are soaking up all those Dragoon hits. Nice to storm.
Oh, these storms were great, blanketing all the tanks, but another hero during that fight was the command center, soaking up all the hits that you talked about. However, the command center does die, but supplies reset both players back down to 124. You can see because of Stork's gateway count, now he instantly goes up to almost 150. I heard a scan go off, I'm not sure if he knows about bottom middle, but probably. Here comes some more Zealots, going to try and get on top of these tanks. Does he have Storm available? No, that Templar had 67 energy. The back Templar doesn't have energy available either, so these units are all going to die and be pushed back. Meanwhile, if we look at Speed's bases, he is mined out in the main and natural. He needs to get bottom middle up and running, otherwise he's going to run out of steam.
Yeah, he does have a lot of army count, 40 supply. I think for the moment right now, when Stork does not have much of a supply count, he should be moving out to the middle of the map and have some position to not letting Stork to move around. A couple of expansion, or maybe pick up some items that are coming from the 1 o'clock side. But Speed is a little bit of passive here. I think he scanned that 6 o'clock and now he's sending a couple of Siege tanks towards the 6 o'clock.
I feel like I'm just getting a flashback to Polypoid game where tanks just move down to bottom middle and it's going to wipe this base out. Now, he needs to at least save these probes. He's got top right natural coming up, so as long as he saves the probes, it's okay. Man, you got to save these probes!
Oh, probes are dying for free. Okay. But I guess Stork is going to go for the counterattack here when a couple of Siege tanks are a little bit of out of position. Okay. Unloading High Templar, nice Storm.
There's really not a lot of vultures to buffer the damage, but now here they come, but all the zealots are already dead. Can the tanks take out all these goons? The storms are great. The goon count is dwindling. Meanwhile, vultures are coming in to save the day. And that means that Speed is going to survive this attack again. Command Center is floating to bottom middle. And because Stork doesn't have Arbiter or anything, like recall is not a thing. The only thing he has to worry about is Templar storm drops there. But now Speed has control of the map. He's going to, lay those vulture mines all over the place. Top right, so many Templars just popped out there. It would be nice if Speed can pick those off.
I'm also looking at the upgrade. Terran's upgrade is definitely great, and Protoss does not have any on.
He scanned it. He goes in for the vulture kills. He gets 2 of them. Yeah, he wants all of them.
And merge. Ooh.
Well, even if they merged, I mean that's basically killing the Templars because Archon is really, really terrible in PvT. Now Speed is going to get his bottom middle base up and running. He's got a really nice tank set up. He needs to get up a turret wall, or a turret and depot wall though. But here comes another attack through the front. Now this might be a good move from Stork because there's not many tanks left anymore in this position. Zealots kill those tanks.
Nice spider mines killing the Zealots.
It looks like Speed just moved a little bit too much defense to the bottom middle high ground, not able to hold this attack for now. There's really only 3 tanks for defense. Look at this. That's it.
Yeah, but finally the observer gets to see there are 3 C-Sec. I think he'll go in. Yeah, he's gonna go in and pick up that 3 tanks for free there.
Yeah, taking an advantage of a moment of vulnerability from Speed, but behind this he's got a lot of vultures. Only 2 tanks, but the vultures can buy a lot of time. And now this allows Speed to get his tanks into position on the bottom side, moving them from the high ground at the 4th base. We can see that something happened to the SCV count though, because it's at 47 now instead of 61. Must have missed the storm drop or something. We have another engagement in the center of the map. Both players still hovering around the same supply, 125 to 120. You can see how impactful those +3 weapon upgrades are because the goons are just being melted over and over and over. But Stork, he's still in a fine position. He's got, well, actually he's not in a fine position because mid-right's about to mine out, and he's going to be back down to just 2 base mining.
Yeah, the game is slowly getting longer and longer, and now Stork is kind of stuck at 2 base mining, I should say, because we can see at the mid-right side, he does have a lot of probe, but the mineral is about to be gone soon.
Oh, Templar drop at the bottom middle. Oh, this is a lot of the SCVs for Speed. He has to save them. Instead, he's going to lose almost all of them. And now he's down to just 40 SCVs. Surprisingly, that's still an okay amount for just 2 bases.
Yeah, where are the SCVs? Okay, finally we can see... Oh, there are 4 SCV at the Speed's main base over there at the top side, at the main top. And we get to see Speed's third expansion is also going to be mined out soon. So this is also not looking great for each player, because we can see Stork's third expansion is going to be mined out much faster than Speed. So this is going to be 2 base versus 1 base most likely. But before that, we're going to be seeing some engagement by Stork moving in.
Oh my gosh, that was big mine hits. Dealing a lot of damage to the Terran player, but of course dealing a lot of damage to the Protoss player. The supplies are now below 100 for Speed. Has Stork finally busted him? The goons are moving on top of all these tanks, 130 to 86. Stork needs to reinforce with his zealots though, but it looks like he still is just barely going to have a little bit too much, and now the 4th base is wide open for the taking if the zealots are able to move in through the bottom side. Instead, he's not going to go for it just yet. He's just gonna try and clear out some mines first with these couple zealots.
I think Stork may need to take another expansion, because this is kind of like a 2 base versus 2 base, and as Terran he can still lift up the command center and take another expansion whenever he wants. And if Stork constantly wastes his army to the spider mines like this, and not much of a army remaining to finish off that 6-5 expansion, or not even taking another expansion at 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock side, this might not gonna be looking pretty for Stork.
I think it's just too little money for Speed at this point. He doesn't have the 3rd base anymore, pretty much, because it's mined out. 4th base has been compromised. Stork still has 2 bases up and running. I think the steam is just running out for Speed at this point. He just can't pump out the amount of units that Stork can. Even if Stork just pumps out Templars, I mean, he can just cast Storm forever and ever and ever, and you know, Templars are pretty cheap. They just cost gas, and he has like 5 gas.
Yeah, that is definitely true. The game is slowly we're looking at the game timer. It's the 27-minute log. Both of the players might be a little bit about getting exhausted here, and Stork may think that he can finish off the game here, but if he's not able to finish the game here, and somehow Speed holds off that 6-4 expansion all the time, this is not gonna be looking pretty full. Speed does have a lot of army still at the natural and at the bridge. Oh, he's finally killing the command center, so yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about. With Terran, you can lift up the command center and take another expansion. So that is what Speed is going to be doing, sending that command center towards the 11 o'clock natural. And Stork does have a lot of guns ready to Speed shuttle.
He's going to just clear out these mines. Of course, the mines, if they get connections, that's great, but they're kind of there just for vision and buy some time. Now, supplies are still heavily in favor of Stork's 145 to 105. I would say that if Speed had even just like 15 more supply, he could potentially win a fight in the center of the map, but with it now being a 50 supply lead, I think it's a little bit too much to overcome. The Observer has spotted the top left base, and that means that this is going to be a dead command center. And
the CBs.
Yeah, they're all going to die too, and unfortunately I think that this is just the beginning of the end for Speed. It would be different if Stork was at top right as his spawn, and then bottom right were all the expansions, where now Speed could instantly go for a counterattack and potentially wipe out 2 bases that are mining, and then Stork wouldn't be mining anything. But the fact that it's reversed, I mean, Speed can't even counterattack because it's just going to be so hard to attack into all these gateways. So this is probably going to be the last move right here. 70 supply lead for Stork. It's just an overwhelming amount of units, but he's not going to take the engagement just yet. Actually, there's a 30 worker advantage for Stork, so the supplies in terms of army count are closer than you expect.
Drop at 6. All the SCVs getting killed by the storm drop, and now I barely see the SCVs remaining for Speed to mine. There are only 15 SCV remaining. I feel like this is a finished move by Speed before he taps out, and there's a lot of army still, but I don't think he can change the game here.
Yeah, I mean, it's 10 tanks, like 10 vultures, and it's almost max army for Protoss with Storm on the bottom side. Speed's gonna back off for now, and yeah, he can't back off. He has to fight and this is probably going to be the last attack. We see that Stork is moving into position. He's kind of bleeding off a lot of units before the fight even happens. Templars in the back eat a mine, and this fight went way better than it should have for Speed. Just unfortunately, he just doesn't have anything behind it.
Wow, he won that fight in the middle.
Tanks are pretty good.
I think if Speed had another expansion running, like 2-base mining, I should say, then it would have been an okay-ish situation, because Stork is right now at 3-base mining, and 1 o'clock main base is already find out in maybe next 1 minute or so. So that storm drop did hurt Speed a lot. Like, remember you said Speed had 61 workers, but somehow his worker count went down to 47.
Yeah.
So that, I think from there it started to snowball and hurting Speed with the eco, and I feel like this is gonna be the finish move.
Yep, and there it is. That is going to be game 2 going over to Stork there. Nicely done from him. But Speed, he had opportunities to win that game. He traded pretty darn well, especially on the bridges. Despite being down so much supply, he traded well all game long. Even the last attack, he traded well. So he's looking very dangerous today, and I think Stork got kind of lucky there, eking out a victory. But regardless, the series is tied 1-1, and this is an exciting matchup. You know, I was reading that the Koreans actually think that this is going to be the most exciting revenge match of them all, and so far, it's definitely true.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get a look at the maps. Third map is going to be Eclipse.
I realized that both of the players chose the map and they lost each other. Okay.
Yeah. So if we keep having back and forth like that, that means we might actually get into Game 7, which is going to be on Ascension, a very cool ASL map that we saw last season. Let me get into the game. Oh, it hasn't started. It hasn't started just yet. Near the end of that game, like, let's say the game was more stabilized. We saw Speed take top left. What are your thoughts on taking the middle base? Because top left just seems so far away, but if you take the middle base, you kind of don't have to move that much. What are your thoughts on the middle base versus top left? Are you there?
Sorry, I was away. I was getting something. You were asking me a question?
Oh yeah. So
okay.
If the game was more even, what do you think about Speed taking the middle base on Fighting Spirit opposed to the top left base? Because the middle base you don't have to move so much.
I do agree. Maybe there's a little bit of a mineral boost, because there are total 12 mineral fields you can mine from at the center. But if you take the fourth expansion towards the 6 o'clock, or if you take the fourth expansion to 11 o'clock natural, there are only 7 and 8 minerals fields. So there is definitely a mineral boost income, and maybe pump out more army with that 8 factory. But I think it could have been a different situation, like different result that we can get to see.
Alright, well, we are into our third map of the day. It is going to be on Eclipse, and in the bottom left, in the red, we have our Terran player. It is Speed, and then of course in the top right in the blue, we have Stork. Now Eclipse, I see all types of builds on here, but I guess the build I see the most from Protoss players is they like to go for the bust. And we've seen Stork do this now twice now, where he's gone for busts. He's gone for 6 gate, 8 gate, pretty much heavy zealot speed, heavy goon count. You think we're going to see it again on Eclipse? Because this is probably the most common thing I run into on the ladder.
Yes, on the ladder you get to see a lot of like Proxy gate or Proxy gate, Castile, or Proxy gate plus the Castile, or like 12 Nexus. But I guess Stork is not gonna be doing some kind of a crazy shenanigan in the beginning. He's queuing up 3 probe at a time, 4 probe in that Nexus. So I guess this is going to be a 12 Nexus follow-up.
Yep, gonna be 12 Nexus, and this is a very, very brutal build to face off against, especially when you're facing a pro gamer. They just max out so fast, they can get all of their tech up and running. You know, I remember watching a game between Gypsy and Rain on Benzene. Rain maxed out in 11 minutes, and he had Arbiter with Stasis at 11 minutes. And Gypsy, I think, was at like 120 supply maybe. He didn't even play poorly. It's just how optimized Protoss builds can be if they get the 12 Nexus up and running. But as I say that, Stork debated us because this is a gateway, and then it's going to be a Nexus follow-up.
Oh, I think I know this build. I heard this is a little current trend meta of a PvP where you go for 11 gateway. As Terran, you know, we go for 9 depot, 11 barracks, and Protoss go for 8 pylon into 10 gateway. Instead of putting down the 10 gateway, you go for 11 gateway into 13 Nexus into a Zealot build. I heard this is a something new meta that Protoss people are doing nowadays on pro scenes.
Well, this is interesting because look at that Nexus, man. It's still not blinking. Okay, now it finally blinks. He lost like 2 probes to go for this type of build. So I'm curious to see how this will pan out because remember, in the first 2 games, Speed was ahead in workers almost the entire game. So we'll see if this 12 or this 13 Nexus, as you said, will allow Stork to catch up in terms of workers in the mid game. Zealot does not deny the SCV from getting in, of course. I mean, he knows that this was a late gas, so it's not really anything he needs to see. Now again, Speed is building up his Marine count. He's going into 3, and now he's pulled completely off of gas. So he can't get that add-on. He can't go straight into mines. He can't go straight into tank. His only option here is to go straight into the command center, but he's building a lot of Marines. I guess it's because he lost vision of the Zealot, of course. Double Zealot. Look at this.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna be seeing some 13 Nexus into Zealot core Zealot, and Stork won't be able to put down the second gateway. So only a single
SCV pull. SCV pull.
Yeah, it's only single gateway. You gotta pulling some SCV and gotta cheese against the dirty Protoss right here. You can't let the Protoss be greedy with the single gateway. You don't want to be playing against the Protoss who is playing with the single gateway. Also taking a second Nexus at the same time. So there's gonna be a cheese. I heard if there's a single gateway, you pull out 7.
Yeah.
So he pulled out 8. I guess this is going to be a must-to-kill move by Speed here.
Yeah, well, the key to this is getting the SCVs around your Marines. If you get your SCVs around the Marines, Zealots can't get on top, and that means that you've got a ton of DPS. Vulture is going to try and micro versus the Zealot. He already busts down all the shields of that first one. The Goon is not really in the greatest position. The SCVs are okay. The bunker's going to get up, and this is going to be a dead Nexus.
Yeah, the bunker just now finishes pulling a little bit of a SCV, remaining 3 SCV at the NAD. I think it would have been a better choice for Speed for like pulling back all those low health HP instead of the full health. And he will still be able to get that Nexus and repair all of his SCV. And we get to see he's making the sea tank with the spider mine research on the way.
Yeah,
he's bringing another SCV. I guess he wants to have 4 SCV at the NAD.
Yeah, he wants to hold this as long as possible, and this Nexus dies so quickly when you have Vultures knocking down the shields. Remember, Vultures, well, any type of unit does full damage to the shield, so even though you don't think Vultures deal a lot of damage to buildings, at certain moments, Vultures deal a lot of damage to buildings. So that Nexus dies pretty darn quick, and we did see a tank follow-up. When I first saw it being made, I was like, this is interesting. Because a lot of times you see players go for mines, but he does get mines, he just wants to get the tank first. And this bunker is going to buy time for him to get his command center up. And also get mines in position. There they are.
All the Spider-Mans will be laid down. Command center starts as well.
Wow, this tank is so fast. I don't think Stork was expecting this at all. Like, whoa, man, you already got a tank? Shouldn't you have mines?
Yeah.
Oh, no! The tank is so far forward, I thought it was going to die.
But I guess the Vultures did buy some time to save that sea tank. But I would like to talk about talk with you about this 11 gateway into 13 Nexus. I feel like it's not really great in my opinion against the cheese because you don't have second gateway. But if you have gone for 12 Nexus, even if you're going for Nexus, you still be able to put down 2 gateway and start making 2 guns at a time. But with this 11 gateway into 13 Nexus, it seems like it doesn't seem that great to me because you kind of have to stay with a single gateway. But ooh, there are definitely a lot of goons.
Well, this is when it starts getting ugly. Okay, he bursts down 3 of the goons. He's trying to focus down a 4th one. Okay, he gets 3 of them. Yeah, this is something I was gonna talk about with this 13 Nexus that you're talking about. I want you to think about this, okay? You see that pylon that has the cybernetics at the top?
Yeah.
He could have built the cybernetics right next to the Nexus with the first pylon. What do you think if he had put his second pylon at the Nat and then built a battery? Would that have been able to save him?
Oh.
Because as soon as I saw that cybernetics and what we saw happening, I was like, man, I feel like if he had a battery, he could have held this.
Yeah, with a different placement of a second pylon, can actually give a different result, as you say. So maybe if Protoss players start to think about putting down the second pylon at the natural and hold off the cheese with the shield better, as you say, it may give a different result. That's also a good idea.
Well, we see that Stork is going to go for Reaver behind this, and he's got a probe moving into position at his 3rd base, so Nex is going to be coming up also. Armory just finished, 2nd factory not done, so Speed is a bit of trouble because his production is really, really lacking. He also doesn't have an eBay, so the turret ring is not going to be in time, obviously. There's also not going to be range on these Goliaths. He hasn't even started, and the goon count is decent. What is it, 7? Comboed with Shuttle Bomb versus 3 tanks? I don't know how you hold this. There's also no bunker. Remember, he lost all his Marines at the natural.
Yeah, Speed. I don't know about his mineral and the Vespene gas balance right now. He does have a lot of minerals at the moment, but he's gonna be using first scan. I don't know where he used it. He used first scan at the Stork's main base and realized there's a robotics support bay, and now he realized that shuttle is coming in, unloading Reaver and unloading Zealot, and he knows Speed cannot hold off this timing attack.
Yeah, instantly taps out. So Speed ends up losing that game, even though it looked so good for him knocking out that Nexus. So nice recovery from Stork, and I was kind of surprised to look back at his main and see that his Robo was actually already done, like when mines were setting up. So in the end, Stark gets the victory there, and he is going to be up 2-1, and that means we're going to be going into our 4th map, which is going to be Hidden Track.
What do you think about this current trend of going 11 gateway into 13 Nexus and making a Zealot from there?
That was actually the first time I've seen that, so I would have to think about it a little bit more. I mean, I agreed with what you said with the push, but then I think the battery could save it. I think, as you said, 1 gateway was a bit ambitious. I'd have to see more games. Can the battery actually save you versus a push, or do you actually need a 2nd gateway? I'm not sure. But it seemed interesting, but at the same time, I was watching the Nexus the whole time, and he was cutting at least 2 probes in the early game, and I'm always skeptical if you're going to have to cut that much, whether it's really worth it or not.
I'm also thinking, like, you have a favor matchup, like, what is it, like the Protoss versus Terran, like, you always have the the favor in the matchup against Terran as a Protoss. Why not just go for 12 Nexus instead of going like 11 gateway into 13 Nexus? Because you are swapping the build order with the Nexus and the gateway just to get the Zealot out a little bit faster. But even with the 12 Nexus, and like, you know how Snow plays with the 12 Nexus, he always have that probe like chasing down your scouting and CV all the time and denying the scouting time for a long time. Well, I guess we are ready to move into game number 4, Hidden Track.
Yeah, Hidden Track is coming at us right now. We've got horizontal spawns again in the top left. Our white Protoss, it is Stork. And of course, in the top right, our Terran player, it is Speed. And yeah, if you can deny scouting, all of a sudden Terran has to guess, okay, did this guy cut a lot of probes and build multiple zealots? Is he getting away with murder, not building any zealots? And if you do that timing into some heavy zealot play, you know, I'm sure you've run into this where you run into like 3 zealots and 2 goons and you like just can't break it, but Protoss sacked so much to do it. I kind of agree. I prefer probably just straight 12 Nexus over the 11 gate 13 Nexus, but I'd have to see it more often.
I heard it started to get popular in like a week ago or so, and I'm gonna be looking carefully at speed. I heard he starts to pull out the SCV before 100 supply. He builds his depot at like 8.9099. he builds depot a little bit faster than a 9 depot, so I'm pretty sure this is gonna help a little bit with the worker count lead, I suppose.
Yeah,
let's see if he gets a supply block or not.
Yeah, there are certain positions like top right polyport or bottom right polyport where you can actually cancel your 9th SCV and then build a depot and then still queue the SCV at 9, or
yeah,
and you'll be able to pump it out on time. So looks like Speed has found that top right position on Hidden Track is one of those maps where you can do that. Now we finally got a deviation from Speed. He's going to be going into Gasless, it seems. And meanwhile, looks like Stork has decided that, hey, 11 gate 13 Nexus, you know what, that's not for me. Let's just go with the tried and true 12 Nexus.
But at the same time, judging by the just by looking at the Bear's placement, it does not seem like a Rex expansion to me, but I guess he'll go for Gasless play. And I see Speed is not also going for the scout here. I guess he's going to be delaying his first scout as much as he can. And Stork is going to be scouting all the way to crossbow and 5 o'clock.
Yep, so Stork, we'll have to wait and see where his second scout goes, because obviously he's not going to find him in the first position. And floating that racks, my opinion is regardless of wherever you put the racks, you cannot float it in the early stages, because if somehow Stork had come into the natural right when the racks floated, well, it's never landing again. And the game, if there was something like a gateway opener, the game would literally be over. I would probably just GG as soon as the probe got to my base, because I know I can't land it again. So Speed got very, very lucky that he was not first scouted right there, because you can literally just lose the game because you floated your rack. So very, very lucky. Now, meanwhile, we do have the double gate opener from Stork. He's going to be going into that cybernetics, but no zealots queued up.
So this is a gateway, gas, gateway. Okay, gateway, gas, gateway, core, and then zealot. So this is going to be 1 zealot into 2 gun, opening by Stork, chewing up a lot of pro production. Both of the players won't be scouting each other for the first, and now I guess Stork is going to be sending out another second probe to scout 1 o'clock.
This is... I don't know why he didn't just send that one probe to cross scout again. Like, they almost met each other at the center of the map. But it is what it is, and he's going to find that, well, Speed got away with something greedy. He doesn't know exactly whether it was 14cc or gasless, but he does know that this is kind of a good opener for Stork, because he doesn't have to worry about any pressure. He can cut units, and he instantly cuts those units and cuts range and goes into straight robo.
This is really greedy. He literally cut everything, and the game has been going for just 4 minutes long. Robo is like almost halfway done already. So
yeah,
I just find this game so disgusting for me, like watching this game, because robotic facility is just way too fast.
Yeah, there are a lot of games where I get like gas stolen, for example, but they know like I can't attack them, so they end up cutting range on their goons and go straight robo like this. And sometimes I end up just going Marine Medic, because I'm just like, nah, screw you, I'm gonna try and kill you because you're trying to get away with too much murder. But then by the time I get there, I'm expecting range to be done, and instead I just run into a Reaver. And it's like, oh, you just actually played the greediest play ever and got away with it. This is actually one of the most disgusting openers I've seen in a long time. Shuttle's already coming out. And I'm looking to see, is support bay anywhere? I don't see it.
Should be. Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Well, Speed, if he goes for that vulture timing play that we've seen him do multiple times, he might be in a bit of trouble, because again, he's going to have no anti-air. He's been skipping the eBay for quite a while, so unless he has turrets up, he's gonna. We may see a repeat of what we just saw in Eclipse, where Zealots come in, comboed, or Zealot Bomb comes in with the Reaver, comboed with Goons, and he might just flat out not have enough to stop it.
Stork will get the supply block for a little here and not be able to make a Zealot. Okay, yeah, he's gonna be start making a Goon now. And Speed is gonna go for timing attack as his ID is called Speed. I guess he can't wait any longer. He wants to move out already. He's making more Marines from the barracks. There's already 5 Marines, 4 Marines out of the bunker, 1 Marine outside, and he has. Oh, this is gonna be 4 fact timing. He's making another factory.
He's got 3 factories coming up, and he's going into pure tank right now, so it may not be 4 factories. I'm not sure how this plays out, building this many tanks in the early stages. We don't see an armory anywhere, so he's looking to definitely get a lot of damage done. Okay, we heard a scan go off.
Oh, he got to see the Cybernetics core still spinning.
Yeah.
Stargate is going up. He made a medic.
He made a medic. Now, what's funny about this is seeing the Stargate spinning and seeing the Stargate, well, he thinks that this means that this is weapon being researched, but actually this is being range researched, and Reaver got into the main. But he doesn't care. He's just going for the counter.
Yeah, I guess Stork cannot wait anymore. And now
there's no range on these.
Stork should know this is going to be the counter attack. The gun range is now complete. Picking up those Marine, nicely done. Oh, I guess one of the Siege tank.
Pretty good.
No, I guess won't go fall. One of the more guns will go down. The Reaver.
Oh, I was gonna say I think that Terran's not gonna have enough, but now that almost all the goons have died, maybe there is.
Zealot.
Yeah, Zealot's still in the main, getting some SCV kills. Gets 3 SCV kills, might get a 4th.
I think Speed is waiting for the siege mode, but siege mode is now it completes. But the Reaver micro out of the siege tank range and shooting the Scarab one by one, sniping the siege tank. Ooh.
Well, Speed has to win with this attack.
Oh,
look at the
Reaver
supply
died.
scan. Yeah, he gets the Reaver. Well, look at the supply. It's still 42 to 60. I would like to see him build a scout. There it is. He does build a scout. He knows he just has to live. He's dealt so much damage, and there's no anti-air.
Yeah, there's just got a new fresh Reaver inside of the shuttle. Only 2 siege tank. Nice Reaver Scarab connecting to the siege tank. Goons are coming.
Yeah,
Oh no.
Tank's gonna fall, and that means there's only 1 tank left for Speed, and he just doesn't have what he needs to deal with it. I think once he sees the scout
just came out. Nice fleet beacon wall.
Oh, he saw the scout and he just taps out. So that's gonna be 3-1 for Stork now. Oh man, Speed has been playing so well today. This was the first game I think where it just went kind of disastrous for him. But now he's on the brink of losing the whole series. He got away with a really good opener. The gasless expand, he had 5 tanks, he had 3 factory production, but unfortunately that Reaver hit way too fast, and the build being disgusting, well, you can see how disgusting it is. Terran moved out and instantly got counterattacked. It is very, very hard to deal with an opener like that from Protoss, but Speed needs to come up with something, because this is the 5th map. He's down 3-1, and he's gonna risk it all on Ultimate Stream. Oh, actually, it was Stork's pick, Ultimate Stream.
Yeah, the Ultimate Stream, I heard it's most likely Zerg and Protoss map, I heard.
Really?
Yeah, I heard it's not good for Terran because, like, I guess the terrain there's so much of a high ground to deal with, and it is not really great for Terran to like move out and take the fourth expansion as well. There are a lot of spaces to rotate the Vulture, but you know, Protoss can build millions of pylon and then just have a pylon wall and just denies every Vulture harassment. And so this is what I wanted to talk about. This is a horizontal matchup, and guess what? Speed is going to be taking his third command center towards to Stork's, Stork's territory. So Stork is going to be definitely pressuring Speed whenever he's trying to take the third command center at the 12 o'clock side, I suppose. And Speed needs to hold off that push really, really well.
Yeah, so we'll see if that's going to be the case this game. At the same time, even though Terran is expanding towards Protoss, I think that top side is kind of not that wide, so maybe Speed can trade effectively there if he can get into the heavy upgrades. We'll see if he's able to do that, or if he's going to go for a game-ending move in the early stages. We do see that the pylon is quite far away. I don't actually expect to see a gateway. Yeah, this is probably going to be the 12 Nexus.
Again.
Yep.
This is going to be the Nexus again. Though, just by looking at the pylon placement, I have a feeling this is going to be the 12 Nexus into 14 gateway, and then putting another pylon inside of his main base, like very close to Westwing Geyser, and hide his cybernetic scores as much as it can.
Well, we're going to have a 14cc from Speed, so both players are getting away with the greediest opener you can possibly imagine. There's the 12 Nexus coming down for Stork. I have a feeling that if Stork scouts Speed relatively soon again, we're going to see another range cut build, because range really doesn't help you in particular on this map. You're attacking uphill, blind, you don't have any vision. So we may see exactly what we saw last game, which was cut range, go straight robo, and you saw how deadly it was. It's really, really hard to deal with.
Yeah, so there are so many ways of going like 12 Nexus build, where you can go for like 14 gateway, 15 gateway and into a gas, or 14 gateway into 15 pylon into a simulator. And this is what Stork is going to be doing. The difference is if you go for 14, 15 double gateway, you are not going to be making any zealot until you start your cybernetic score. But with this build, like 14 gateway into 15 pylon, 16 gas, you will be making the first zealot and then making the cybernetic score inside of your base. So the difference is like the timing of the getting the first zealot out on the map. With this build, like the really fast first zealot into core, I heard from a Protoss player that with the first zealot you can buy some time when Terran player brings, you know, like whenever Terran players are able to find out Protoss 12 Nexus really fast, they bring out like 2-3 SCV immediately with the single Marine and start putting down the bunker. So with this build, with the fast zealot, you can pretty much deny everything.
Well, we see that Speed is getting a bunker up for himself at his natural. Started to get his factory built just now. Meanwhile, Cybernetics is about to finish for Stork, so I'm curious whether we're getting that upgrade or if he is going to cut. We see second gateway coming down. First Zealot is moving into the natural of Terran pretty soon. I think there's only one Marine in that bunker, and the Zealot says like, well, I'm just gonna walk on in here. And every SCV it gets will be very, very punishing to the Terran player, so he needs to make sure that he doesn't lose any SCVs, but he has no Sim City, so this is pure micro right now from Speed. So far, he's done a really good job.
And this is also good for Stork, that he knows Speed has nothing besides one factory. As soon as you figure out Speed has only one factory with his first Zealot Scout, he probably will go for the 3 Nexus really fast before the Robo. And I have a feeling that's what he's going to be doing. Or maybe even put down the Robo and start cutting off Goon production and go for super fast third expansion. I would like to see what Stork is going to be deciding to do. And yes, I see his probe moving down to the 9 o'clock side, about to put down the third Nexus already before the Robo. So this is what I wanted to talk about. If you show how much of a factory you have by the first Zealot Scout, Protoss can do anything. Like they can decide and just do whatever they want. So yeah, he's gonna be putting. Okay, I guess he will put down the Robo first, but he will be cutting up all this gun production here. Only 3 gun into 3 Nexus already. This is disgusting.
Yeah, and it could have been even faster because he doesn't even need range. Like, what's Terran gonna attack you with? Marines? Like he didn't even need to build the range. So you know. I'm reminded of a game I saw between Brittany and Flash. I don't know if you remember this game. It was on Optimizer. And well, Brittany went for 12 Nexus and Flash went for 14 Command Center. Flash didn't scout for a long time, but Brittany did. So Brittany went Pylon, Nexus, Nexus. Did you ever see that game?
Pylon, Nexus, Nexus?
Yeah, he built 3 Nexus before Gateway. And because Flash didn't scout, he had no idea it happened. And when he did scout, he saw the Nexuses all built before Gateway was done. And he tried to pull SCVs, but Brittany held it. So he had 3 Nexus versus an SCV pull on a 14cc. Oh, it was the most disgusting opener I've ever seen. I think even Brittany gave Vision at the end versus Flash. That's how far ahead he was. It was one of the funniest games I've ever seen.
It does sound disgusting, like having 3 Nexus. And we're gonna be seeing Speed is already upgrading something at the eBay. eBay is blinking. The armor one on the way. He already put the turret ring, as you say. So I guess he is aware of that super fast robo, like Reaver harassment once again, like last game. But this time, I guess Speed is gonna go for bio push.
Yeah, I think this is not just. I think he's using this not just because it's versus any old player here. It's versus somebody that likes to go for Stargate play. It's Stork. He knows that he loves to go for carriers, and this is just a blind counter versus a build that you know this player likes to do. And it's been 4 games now. Stork has not gone carriers except on Hidden Track, or he attempted to go carriers on Hidden Track, but the game ended so fast. So I think this is a nice read from 10 Minute Flash here to go for this type of play.
And look at the worker count. It's already at 58 at 7 minutes 16 seconds. I find this build so disgusting. Like you shouldn't be having this much of a worker at this time. Like, if you have that many worker already, Protoss is already done saturating. Just build lots of building, start macro and attack. But I guess Stork really wants to do some carrier build this time, and I don't see robotic support base, so it doesn't seem great for Stork because this bio ball is gonna be so scary.
Oh my gosh, Observer, look at the top, going through the natural. He's gonna try and get in, but will there be enough DPS? The answer is no. Observer's going to see it, and this is crucial for Stork. Instantly puts down the support bay. Now, what I wanted to say about this build from 10 Minute Flash is that this is not like the Haya build. If you guys have watched Haya's tutorial video where he's like on 1 factory 4 racks, this is 2 factory 5 racks. So there's a lot of firepower here. There's a lot of tank support here. He definitely has multiple attacks in him. He doesn't necessarily have to win with the first one like the Haya build. And look at what Stork's doing. He's got a lot of goons just hidden throughout the map. But the Zealots got intercepted, so this should give away that, hey, Stork's up to something weird.
Yeah, finally a couple of cannons are being built at the high ground. The Reaver is 50% done. And I really like this goon rotation, like cutting off the reinforcement. So now Speed's first army is somewhat trapped, and there are 2 cannons on the high ground. Okay, I guess he got the vision to see it. The cannons will definitely buy some time. Bringing more of an army, sandwiching it from the both sides. The focus
fire was great from those tanks, and that means that the tanks all die. Marines are gonna hold as long as they can. +1 armor is very, very good with this attack. But you can see Speed is scrambling to get more units into position, and somehow Stork, who wasn't even planning to go for any gateway timing or any Reaver timing, he's able to push this back so far. You know, he's still going carriers behind this.
Yeah, I'm really not sure about going carrier here. And where's the shuttle going at to? Okay, he just brought that Reaver from the top side. One nice Scarab connecting to the sea tank, but ooh, I'm not sure about switching into carrier here. Why not just go for mass gateway and then build a Citadel? Oh yeah, he does have the Citadel. Then why not just go for a high Templar build against this bio tank build?
Yeah, you can also just spam DTs. He's got a lot of gas, and you know that this guy only has 2 comp stats. As I click them, only one of them has energy, and he only has 2 scans available. Now this is where it starts getting dangerous. SCVs are starting to build bunkers, starting to build turrets, and he's going to slowly creep. And these carriers really are not going to help at all. +1 armor is very effective versus carriers. Like, the Marines just flat out don't die. He's even got +1 weapon halfway done on his Marines. So Stork, this is a bit of a blunder. I do not think that this is going to be successful. Reaver's going to get taken out, and there's still a bunker and tanks at his nat.
Yeah, that is definitely a lot of us. Marine medic bulk coming. The bunkers are also finished. So if Speed starts to have this territory with the mass turret and maybe even putting down the bunker at the high ground, this natural is gonna be taken down. And at the same time, that a third expansion at the 9 o'clock is also gonna be vulnerable.
Well, as a Forge, okay, Forge does complete +1 weapon, so that will nullify the armor upgrade. So a big upgrade for him, but just this position is just so hard to bust as Protoss, with medics especially sitting in the front. Natural has been breached, and now that he's on the high ground, if he can get a bunker up, that means that the third base is potentially going to be breached. He just needs to swoop around with some tanks. I'm sure Speed has scanned the main of Stork recently. He doesn't really have to push this. I mean, it's carriers coming out. Marine Medic is not scared of carriers.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this decision going for 4 carrier. It would have been so much better, like with those cost of money with the making 4 carriers with the 8 interceptors. Temper Archive with the Mass Zealot would have been a better answer to this M&M, and now Stork is going to be starting to lose each expansion. Luckily, Stork has the hidden probe at the 5 o'clock. We'll be putting down the Nexus, so that's also good news for him. But will Speed find out the 5 o'clock expansion later? Ooh!
Reaver, oh, it just gets taken out. Yeah, surprisingly, one of the best counters to Marine Medic is literally just hide bases. That's it. And even if they knock down bases, you can keep your econ rolling as Protoss. You just kind of have to slowly whittle down the Terran ball and just out econ them. So I like that this Nexus is going up at bottom right. This mid left base is going to be breached. The main is getting breached. There doesn't seem to be any scans. Okay, now one goes off, but the DT did a lot of damage. But look at the supplies. It's now in favor of 10-minute flash, just slightly, 95 to 93.
The gateways are on power. The Dark and Temper did not come out. Right now, Stork really needs to build more gateway, but there's not much of a space to build. These tanks are slowly pushing forward with the missile turret as well. There are 2 carriers at the mid left, but they're not doing a great job.
Oh, DT pops out again, instantly gets taken down by these 1-1 Marines, and now the tanks have wiped out all of the gateways. All that's left for production is the Stargates, and he doesn't even have that much money to continually produce. Okay, now he built another one. Bottom right, he started to build up gateways, but he doesn't have any probes there, and he only has 8 probes at mid left, and he has only have 15 probes in total.
Yeah, this isn't good. The Interceptor does have great upgrade with the +2, +2 air attack upgrade. But look at this, an M&M ball is starting to get higher and higher with the missile turret, and they're just doing such a great DPS and killed all those interceptors immediately.
Oh, well, as you said, the +2 weapon is doing a good job. A lot of Marines went down there for just 1 interceptor. Now he's going to kill off these tanks also. And of course, this looks like an amazing position for Speed. It is, but I mean, look how effective these carriers are now. They're killing a lot of Marines. Sure, Speed is still in a great position, 36 SCVs to just 16 probes. But bottom right is up and running. He's got a DT out there, and you've got to send a real army down to bottom right because those DTs will one-shot the Marines since they have +1 weapon.
Ooh, that is definitely a lot of
Is Stork gonna save? Well, okay, he's not gonna save his main, but he's killing off all of these Marines over here at the left side while they're also in turrets.
Yeah, I'm not sure about killing those Marine at the main base where there are missile turret over there. The missile turrets are doing 3 damage to the carrier. I think Speed is trying to find some hidden base at the 7 o'clock, but he doesn't get to see it. But he does not know about the 5 o'clock expansion. There are a lot of probes already at the 5 o'clock.
Yeah, these 4 carriers have done way more damage than I was thought. One of them has 12 kills. I'm trying to get a read on the other ones. Let's see. Another one has 12 kills. I mean, that's 25 kills, and most of those were Marines. Like, they're dealing a surprising amount of damage for the low number that they are actually at. Supply block for Stork. Every pylon is kind of brutal for him since his probe count is so low.
Yeah, these 4 carriers are doing great job. I would like to get to see how much of a kills each carrier has. Okay, one of the carrier has 16 kills. The other ones are building interceptors, so I won't be able to confirm.
He thinks...
we heard a couple of scans going on.
Yeah, he thinks that this is the last remaining buildings, but now he finds bottom right is up and running. But he doesn't see that many probes, so he should still be feeling pretty confident that he has this game. But of course, he's not happy to know that Protoss snuck another base. Carriers moving into the main, but there is a lot of Marines here, and they should be able to deal with the interceptors this time around. I think there's critical mass Marines.
Oh,
maybe not.
These interceptors are pretty strong right now, killing the Marine one by one.
Yeah, and okay, now finally some of the interceptors are dying, but okay. Yeah, there's just a little bit too many Marines right now. You can see that all of a sudden it snowballed really hard in favor of the Marines once a couple of interceptors died. And now 10-minute flash is moving into the bottom right position. DT trying to get as many kills as possible.
They're doing a great job. Speed is trying to take both of the expansion, but he'll be canceling the command center at the 3. I heard... Okay, the Dark Templar that died, okay. Oh, I hear Dark Templar over there at the middle of the map. So buying the time really, really well. I think Storm should be available. If Storm connects really, really well on the Marine, he may be able to hold, but it is definitely a lot of Marine medic force right now.
Yeah, let's see. Can the Storm...
Nope,
it dies. And DT in the back is trying to get some kills on the Marines, but I just don't think it's enough now. Well, he doesn't notice, and from what I know about tanks, they don't shoot up, so if you can wipe out the Marines with the DT, the carriers will clean it up, and I think he's gonna hold this. Marines are streaming in, but is there enough? Are they gonna... The medics move to help the tanks! Why?
Okay. I'm not sure, but all of the siege tank will get picked off. This, how many Marines? 7 Marine remaining? They're just literally getting picked up by the 4 carrier. What the hell? These carriers are so strong.
Yeah. You know, Scan, if that 5th carrier had popped out or the 6th carrier had popped out for Stork, he may, you know, actually could have won this game. I still think Speed's in the driver's seat, but these carriers have almost 100 combined kills. Now, that's what I was looking for back in the main of Speed. Can he get raced with Cloak?
Ooh.
He's going for it, but the carriers are going to arrive, I think, in time to deny this. And this starport, if he had hidden it, I think he could have easily gotten up Cloak rates, but as played, I think he's not going to be able to actually be able to complete this.
Yeah, I think the control... Yeah, Stork should be able to find out that control tower is blinking. He should know he's preparing for raid, and I'm pretty sure Stork is going to be somewhat obsessed to kill that control tower. I think he's gonna go for control tower immediately.
Oh my gosh! It's seconds away. It's seconds away. Oh, it completed! It completed. Where's the wraith? He has 1 single wraith, but that's all he needs. There's no forge. Oh, in the main of Stork, a vulture has gotten in and started killing some probes, but that's all he needed was 1 single wraith. Now he has 2 of them with Cloak. There's no forge. Also, the vulture confirmed there's no forge, so he can easily kill these carriers right now if he goes for it.
Yeah, the robotic facility is right now on the way, but I guess Speed is not gonna show his wraith yet.
I don't know why.
The number of our wraith.
Stork obviously knows it's coming, so why not just use it now? You know where the carriers are. They're out in the center of the map. Go get them. Archon coming in.
Ooh. Yeah, this is gonna be a desperate move. And the Cloak.
Oh, let's see. Oh, I thought he was gonna try and splash his own units, but instead he instantly taps out. He thought he had denied Cloak, but not the case, and that means that Speed is gonna survive to fight for game number 6.
Wow.
That was wild. I thought there's no world where Stork could hold that attack. And then the 4 carriers had literally over 100 kills.
With those all the mining game that Stork was doing, I think it would have been better if he has gone for mass gateway with the Templar Archive instead of going for carrier. But let's try for Stork going for carrier. He showed how strong his carrier is. I guess he wanted to be showing off some of his carrier micro against Terran, but I guess that game didn't go really well for Stork.
Yeah, it's hard to argue like, oh well, he should have gone for Storm when you see carriers get that amount of kills. I mean, I was expecting the interceptors to just melt, but not the case. So we're gonna be going into game 6. It's gonna be on Polaris Rhapsody. Now this is a 2-player map similar to Eclipse. I personally really don't like this map simply because the 3rd bases don't have gas, and if you do want to get that 3rd gas, you have to travel quite far away. So we'll see what Speed comes up with on this map. It is going to be game 6. We've got Stork up 3-2, so of course he's 1 game away from taking the series. But Speed, using a really nice build on game 5, kind of letting Stork know like, hey man, I know you like carriers. You're gonna have to think twice about blindly going carriers versus me. So in the top left position in the teal, we have Stork. And in the bottom right, our Terran player with a nice Marine medic play. It is Speed. Now, Polaris Rhapsody, what are your thoughts on this map, especially in TvP?
I think if Protoss is going for the carrier, it is definitely hard for Terran to execute when Protoss is going for carrier. But if Protoss is going for like a very standard, like a speed shuttle or let's say arbiter build, it may be a little bit of easy for Terran to hold off and just kind of turtle with wait for a 3-2 upgrade. And before that, I guess Stork is gonna go for natural pylon into scout.
Yep, so this time around, he's like, it's a 2-player map, man. I was nice to you on Eclipse. Ended up going up for that 11 gate 13 Nexus. But no more Mr. Nice Guy, because this looks like it's going to be a gas-stealing probe at the minimum. You were talking about how Eclipse, you could have Proxy Gate, and gas steal, followed up by a Nexus. Like, there's all types of shenanigans that Protoss players can do on 2-player maps, so we'll see what he's come up with. Meanwhile, that probe is going to the natural for the gate. Oh, he kind of got misrallied, but he's going to put down that gateway, but not before he gas steals the Terran player. Look at this SimCity from Speed. If I ever play Polaris Rhapsody again, I'm going to have to remember this, because this looks pretty slick. I think it's Zealot type probably at the top left side, right?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a tight wall. And I think Stork is planning to go for the Nexus once again. His gateway is somewhat delayed. He went for the gas steal first into a gateway. So his Zealot pressure is not going to do anything against Speed. Speed is searching for a proxy gateway at the mineral expansion each side. And now he confirms there's no proxy gate. He'll be going to see where Stork's natural soon.
Yep, and back in the main of Stork, we do not see the gas. We do see a pylon coming up, so probably going to be that Nexus, as you mentioned. Now, if you're in a situation like this, you get gas stolen, you know it's likely Zealot pressure is going to be coming, and you're about to confirm it right now. What's your go-to follow-up? Like, am I rushing to kill this assimilator? Do I not care? Am I gasless expanding? How many Marines do I build?
You gotta make at least a 3, and if you know Zealot is moving out to you, then you gotta make into 4. And you also probably want to kill the gas first before taking the command center. Some people try to go for the gas command center first into gas, but that literally delays your factory timing, and you'll eventually lose a lot of mining time by the gun range harassment if you go for the command center first. And think about it this way: whenever you're going for Rex expand, like a Rex expand, like with the 15cc, you go for 17 gas, and the 17 gas is about 2 minute 48 second-ish, somewhere around there. And you just kind of like do some of a comparison of the two builds with the what is it, Rex Expand build with the gas timer and gas stolen, and how you should be reacting to your Protoss build. So this is a little bit of a right way of responding to Protoss build, even though your CC is a little bit delayed. You will get the factories a little bit faster than the normal time.
Yep, this gas was something like a 310 gas, so about a 25 second delay compared to that 248 gas timing that you're talking about. Probe gets taken out.
Yeah, the core is not even done. Core is not done. Factory starts.
Yeah, so this is good. So this is a good opener from Terran. Of course, Protoss is in a fine position also. Probe to SCV count is pretty much dead even. Nexus is slightly ahead of the command center. So I would say both players pretty much in an even state right now. What we're really looking for is if this SCV can get taken out, and whether or not Protoss can again get away with something like a no-range robo opener or like Citadel opener. He's got triple Zealot, which is a bit unusual. I'm sure if this was a ladder game and Artosis was playing, these Zealots would have already walked by that bunker. But this is not a ladder game. This is actually Stork, a high-level player, and he is not going to... Oh, well, as I say that, he's now going to send the Zealots across the map. So let's see if he's going to do that wide walk that we've seen a lot of ladder players do versus players like me and Artosis on the ladder. Wasn't it Free that ran by the bunker versus Sharp?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, it looks like we may have a repeat here.
Wasn't it Sharp versus Bisu?
Oh, Sharp versus Bisu?
Was it on an ASL? I think it was.
I can't remember, but it looks like... Well, I thought he wasn't going to run by, but he might actually go for it now. Let's see. There he goes. Okay, yeah, he backs off.
Yeah, I think he got to see that 5th Marine. It's already out of the bunker. So I guess he'll be pulling back. Oh, we didn't get to see Stork's main base. He built a Dune this time. Templar Archive with the robotic facility. So this is going to be a DT drop, and he's also adding more gateway. Is this going to be 4 gateway by Stork? Okay, 4 gateway by Stork.
Well, this will get interesting because Academy has just now started. eBay has been late consistently every game from Speed, and Speed's going for drop. So both players are going to have a nightmare to deal with. There's going to be invisible units from Stork, but there's also going to be Vultures wreaking havoc in the main. First DT is halfway done, and with Robo coming out, DT drop is also a possibility. Oh, Vulture, how does it get through?
Ooh, Vulture will be laying down some of the spider mines.
Oh! Ooh. He gets a couple of probes there, and now he forces all of these probes back into the main, and oh, he also shows the DT. So now Speed knows exactly what's coming.
Yeah, Speed knows what's coming. He's already making the Wraith. Instead of making a dropship, he's gonna be making the Wraith to stop any of a drop harassment. And now he's gonna be follow up his dropship on the way. But Stork won't be able to move out because of the no units at the front line. And those spider mines are pretty much buying some time. And the Wraith is going somewhere. I guess he's looking for the shuttle. Try to intercept her in the middle of the map.
It seems that before he even got into the base, the Wraith was already being built. That's very interesting. I thought for sure this was going to be a drop, but not the case. As you mentioned, he's looking for the shuttle now, and he's just barely going to miss it so far. He may think that it's already across the map. Oh my gosh, look at how lucky Stork is to not be intercepted. And in the main of... Dude, Speed saw that there were DTs and there's no eBay anywhere.
I guess this is a little bit of a cocky move by Speed. Not even building a eBay, so he only has a single Wraith. He found the Wraith. He does have enough scans to kill this 2 Dark Templar.
But there's a drop in the main of Stork at the same time, so both players' multitask is going to be tested right now. Vulture or DT in the main. is going to get into the SCV line. I heard a scan go off. He takes out one of them, but there's also a DT in his main that he doesn't know about. Meanwhile, Vulture drop in the main of Stork. Killed a decent amount of probes. Can he range the probes from there? The answer is yes.
We hear a scan once again. The last DT is still surviving at Speed's main base. But if he's not able to get... Oh, he used another scan just to kill the single Dark Templar. And that single Dark Templar has 8 kills. I guess that did a lot of damage.
Yeah, now behind this, Stork is going to take a third Nexus. This is... I would say it's a decently greedy, but now that I'm looking at his army, he's got 7 goons. And we know that Terran has been prioritizing Vulture, so it's not like he's really under much threat other than a Vulture drop. And a lot of players don't Vulture drop twice, but that's not the case. The Observer spots the dropship, but this time around, oh, he moved all of his goons out of position. There's only one to defend.
Yeah, one goon won't be able to stop those 4 Vultures, and they have enough Spider Mines. And these 4 Spider Mines will trigger, doing some splash damage to the Vulture, but this is gonna be a big loss of losing a lot of probe. There's gonna be the counter attack, but there are 4 siege tank already.
There's nothing in the bunker.
Tank.
Nothing in the bunker.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. There are a lot of siege tank here.
Yeah, the tanks are gonna easily deal with these goons. Meanwhile, the Vulture drop got cleaned up. Third base is up and running for Stork though, but all these goons might be caught. They're getting stuck on the bridge.
Oh, nice pick up all those couple of goons. And Stork is definitely having a 3 base, but still not enough probes yet.
Yep, and behind this, Speed has gone for 5 factory follow-up, but he's also got upgrades coming at the same time. Science Facility is coming in. Still only has 1 armory that I see, but he'll be able to get that +2 coming pretty soon. Meanwhile, now moving across the map, Stork is going to try and buy time, going for a small counterattack, and he needs to do moves like this. He needs to let his third base econ start kicking in, allow him to catch up in the gateway count. He started to put down more gateways. He's at 7 now. Remember, he has Citadel and Templar Archive, so he can get speed very quickly. He just needs to buy time.
Even a Wraith is picking up a little bit of a kill here at the natural. I guess the Wraith will fall.
Oh, Vulture drop in the main again. Man, these Vulture drops are punishing the I like the Wraith play at the natural, drawing all those goons out of position and instantly drops the main. Meanwhile, goons have been caught on the other side of the map. I don't even know if they're going to kill a single tank. And this is all falling apart for Stork.
Yeah, these Vultures are pretty much buying the time really well, distracting Stork's attention to the main. His main army at the Speed's natural will get killed. So this is not looking pretty, and another Vulture drop once again at the 3rd expansion. Probe has to be transferred. This is not even looking good for Stork. Stork doesn't even have enough Vespene gas to make anything.
Yeah, he's just broke as a joke. He's just now realized he's not mining his main gas. Another Vulture drop into the natural. Doesn't really do anything, but keeps the units back. That means he can kill this Nexus easily. He's got 6 factories behind this. He's got +2 coming. He's got 3rd command center coming up. It looks like we're going to be going into Game 7 scan.
Yeah, this is going to be the finish move by Speed, and he's going to be sieging to the right side, and there are not much of a Vultures remaining. Tanks are a little bit vulnerable here, but with the +1 attack, they are so strong.
Yeah, goodbye goons. And that means that this is going to be GG any moment now. There it is. So Stork taps out, and we have got a tied series. And that means that Game 7 is going to be on Ascension. And this is a very cool map. We talked about how this is, what, the 3-player Blue Cross? Or Blue Storm? I mixed it up that time. I was thinking Blue Storm and Tau Cross, because I personally think it's more like Tau Cross, because it's got the 3-player setup. It's got huge mains. Drop potential is massive. But either way, this is definitely a very cool map to end our series on. Man, look at that. Look at that map. It is just so blue, so wide main. Let's get into game 7, guys. Let's find out who's going to take our series. Is it going to be Stork or Speed? Both players playing so well this series, and Stork is one game away from getting revenge versus his nemesis in the past year or so.
Ooh.
All right, in the mid-left position, in the brown, it is Stork. And of course, our teal Terran player, it is 10-minute Flash.
Looking at both of the players' mining path, looks like Speed is working on the mining path with the pressing C, I suppose, at the very top one, or top second, or maybe not.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's a little fast, but I guess he's not microing it. And I heard I heard the mining a little worse at the 7 o'clock side compared to the other location like 12 and 5. So let's see what Stork is going to be doing this time. He's going to be doing 11 into 13 Nexus. I heard a lot of people doing that on Ascension on like Pro League.
Well, we'll see what Stork comes up with. So far, we just see Pylon. Of course, Depot coming in from Speed. I wasn't expecting to see something like an 8 racks or BBS.
Oh, he queued up the second probe, so we're going to be seeing some 11 game. Oh, never mind, another probe.
Yep, either way, we know that there is going to be some type of fast Nexus coming in from Stork. Is this map a good map for 12 Nexus? You know, obviously, there are some maps that are not the greatest for 12 Nexus, but just looking at the map and having never played on it, it seems like the rush distances are decently far.
Yeah, I'm looking at the build.
Oh, there's the gate.
I think, yeah, I think he's still gonna go for 13 Nexus. I'm also looking at Speed. His Speed has gone for 11 barracks into 11 refinery, so he's still not going for the scout. Okay, I guess he finally is gonna go for the scout with the 13 scout. And here it is. This is going to be the gateway into 13 Nexus. Zealot into maybe is it gas first? I'm not sure the build order of this because it just recently just started getting popular in Korea scene. Okay, so this is gonna be the pylon first.
There it is. There's the pylon again, man. I really feel like this is a big mistake to not put it at your NAT. You can build the cybernetics right to your Nexus. You don't need to build it at the second pylon. And Speed's gonna scout this first and see again, like, I remember playing versus this on Eclipse. Now let me ask you about the 11-11. Obviously you get out a slightly faster factory, but what is the intention of the 11-11 versus 11-12, for example? Is it because you're expecting Zealot pressure? Is it because you want to pressure yourself? What are you looking to get done with this opener?
You want to pressure against your opponent with any like a vulture, like for example, I guess you can still do the vulture expand with the 12 Nexus, but most likely with the 11-11, you go for the kill against any type of build, like whenever a Protoss is going for the Nexus first. But with the Zealot scout, did not lose CHP, only shield.
Well, you see that cybernetics was put in a nice position. It creates a nice sim city, but unfortunately for Stork, this game might be over before we even get into a point in the game where SimCity really matters. There's no battery at the front, no pylon at the front, and we see that the first vulture is about to come out. Who's supply blocked? Oh,
supply blocked by Speed, because Speed cannot make the second vulture right now, and he's not adding machine shop. I think he really wants to get the second vulture out on the maybe second vulture starting now.
He's not.
No,
queuing
not
it
yet.
Yeah, okay, now he queues it. But this was like a 10-second loss on that vulture, and vultures only take like 19 seconds or so that's half of a vulture not in his attack. However, the fact that Protoss still only has one gate is interesting. Now this is cool. This is one of the features.
Vulture.
This is one of the features of Ascension where he hid those zealots in the back. The SCV falls, but here come more SCVs that are drilled.
SCVs are a little bit out of position. I think
the Marines.
this is not a good trade. Or he does get a little bit of a probe. Will he be able to get that gun?
He needs to finish. He finishes the bunker. I thought he was going to lose all of his Marines before he finishes the bunker, but it does complete. However, you can see that Terran lost a lot of SCVs for that. Or if you think back to the Eclipse game, remember he had 4 SCVs repairing at this point, and he had already sent like 1 or 2 back. So now he just has 2 in total. So this was a big loss for Terran. But at the same time, Protoss just lost an additional 2 probes. So that's a nice way to catch up. And behind this, second factory.
Gonna go for the kill mode. He's not gonna go for command center. Putting down another factory. There are 4 guns and a follow-up is a robotic facility. The gun range is about to be done. But I guess the Nexus will go down first.
Yeah, and this is what you need to do when you're in a situation like this. Don't think that your vultures don't do damage, because they deal a lot of damage to those shields, and that Nexus is going to fall. Now, it's going to get dangerous, because these Marines can't escape. And behind this, there's really not that much for speed, but Stork has been pumping out non-stop goons. A counterattack is going to be super deadly.
I think Stork is a little bit of aware of other spider mine on the high ground. He's not going to be moving out, and that's a really good mining game of both players right now. Speed will be able to save those Marine, and pretty much lying to Stork that I have spider mine on high ground at the center of the map anywhere. And now Stork needs to wait until the observer comes out.
Yeah, that was a smart move from Stork to back off, because of course you don't know if they have mines or not. And as you mentioned, it's a mine game. Definitely this is a move that you can only mine game at high levels. If you're playing like the B rank Protoss, 100% they're just A moving across the map, waiting to hit a mine before they back off. And this play would have backfired versus that type of player. But as played, Stork or Speed is setting up for a secondary attack. We can see that it is 6 goons, soon to be 8 goons. Observer is already out, and I just don't think there's enough DPS in this army for Speed right now. He's got 3 tanks, like 4 vultures, 3 marines, versus 8 goons. I just don't know if that's enough.
I also don't know. We can also see the worker count is 10 workers ahead of a worker count for Stork. But these, if you have spread guns and not fighting all those guns at the same time, but at the same time,
oh my god!
Oh, observer's out of position. These spider mines will trigger. Oh no!
Oh, he got. Oh my gosh, that was a clutch kill on that mine. If it had connected on those 2 goons, one of them would have at least died. And now the goon count is manageable. It's at just 4, actually 5, no. But one of them's heavily damaged at the bottom side and heavily damaged goon at the top. Speed is making it work, and he's got rallied speed vultures coming across the map.
Oh no, this is not looking great. What's the follow-up that Stork is going to be doing? 3-gate off. Okay, so he's going to be pumping out lots of gun, but there are a lot of C-Stang. Now there are 4 C-Stang for Speed, and now the Nexus will most likely going to go down once again. He really needs to kill the Lurker Egg.
Yeah, and this is a tight choke. Like, Speed can just sit here in an arc and easily kill these goons. And this is 4-gate follow-up for Stork. I was thinking, like, well, if he goes Reaver, he can easily bust out, but there's no Reaver. Mines get in possession. Take out 2 of the goons at the bottom side. Probes are being pulled, and there's vultures at the top side of the main. They're going to start killing probes, and it looks like Speed is actually going to make this 2-fact timing work. He's wiping out all the probes in the main.
Speed mode is done, and probe is getting shot. Oh my god, a lot of vultures are dying.
Oh, the mines.
Oh no, I totally missed it, and he has Speed's main base as well. He does have the backup plan, he does have the second command center started, but I don't think Stork has any units remaining to hold off the spider mine that's gonna. Oh my!
And GG comes out. Speed makes it work. He kills the Nexus with a nice vulture marine rally. Then he goes for the follow-up 2-fact play. You never expect that as a Protoss player, and you can tell that Stork was not expecting that because he didn't have Reaver coming. He just had Gateway Observer. Wow. Wow. I can't believe that 10-minute Flash was able to do that.
Why didn't he go for 2-gate up into Reaver build just like the first game on an Eclipse? I think there was a little bit of a mind game that he probably wanted to go for 3 Nexus really fast, but I guess he didn't expect of a 1 base 2 fact again.
Yeah, clearly he was not expecting that follow-up, and he gets caught, and unfortunately that means that Stork is going to lose the series 4-3, and now he's really mad against mad at Speed, because now Speed has got the best of him in the ASL, got the best of him in KCM, and now the revenge match that Stork wanted, he still can't take down this guy. So Speed is definitely looking very, very strong these days. And I mean, you talked about it before, this new 11 gate 13 Nexus build. We're both kind of up in the air on it. I really think if you build the battery you could hold, but clearly the way Stork is doing it, it's just not working.
I guess you can try it out on a ladder, maybe just for fun and test it out. But I think instead of going for like 11 gateway into 13 Nexus, I think it might be better to go with like 12 Nexus into 14 gateway and make the Zealot like where he has done in Ultimate Stream. I think that's a little bit of a better choice in my opinion. You have more worker lead and you have the more equal boost, and you can also put down the second gateway much faster than compared to the 13 Nexus build. What do you think?
Yeah, I also agree that I think just straight up 12 Nexus is better, but I mean, this is only the second time I've seen this build. I'm sure other players have variations of it, but it just looked... I think on that map that we just saw, Ascension, where you can hide the Zealots and they can flank from the back, I like it more on that particular map, but in general, I would agree that the 12 Nexus is probably better. But that's going to be it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and that's also going to conclude our Revenge series. So there's not going to be a 5th Revenge match coming up next week. This is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was very cool to see these players play, and of course, nice to see somebody unknown, kind of unknown to me, is Speed, and some of the drama versus for him versus Stork. And it was nice to see that, of course, he played very well. The games were great today. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you tune in to future casts from StarCastTV.